Byron Unfiltered from a waterfall. And downtown Vancouver, it's pretty loud here, but we got Marcus. So I'm just gonna walk away from the waterfall. Good thinking. My title today is, so much quieter. For the greatest good of all. That is pretty much could end my video with that. I think it's a standalone line, for the greatest good of all. I think it all comes down to that. I really believe that is like the big picture test to like against like are our decisions good? Like what are our decisions based on this planet? Because I believe that we're past the time where it's about us. Like, I like this, I do this, blah, 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 me. Like, we've done all that and it's not working. We're fucking the planet. So, I think, I'm proposing a new ideal for the world. Like a stress test at a bank. To be like, is this for the greatest good of all? And I think that's really important. And I associate veganism with that. And my rant yesterday triggered some people. And I get triggered when people make it about themselves, like, oh, it's personal choice. I don't know. There's certain things that I don't think are personal choice. Like, say we all live in a house. Say there's like 12 people who live in a house, and like 6 of them are like slobs, and they are doing all sorts of stuff that's wrecking the house and gonna cause eventually like collapse on the one side of the house that will affect the other people. It's like, why not use the real example? We're all on the planet, and people are making choices, their personal choices, that are affecting the entire planet. So I don't think it's fair to be like, this is my personal choice to like destroy things that affect everybody. I think we're at the point though, it's like we need it's weird to say, but we need world intervention. Like the nationalism, the thinking as separate eyes, like I like this, and to me, in my neighborhood, in my country, my city, my race, my gender, all of that shit is, I don't know. The question is it for the greatest good of humanity? Because we are all earthlings first and foremost before we're broken off into all our subcategories. So I see the only way forward is like there should be like a world police, like a council to manage the world instead of managing a country. You know what I mean? Like, how does anyone, like, I don't know what else can we do at this point. Like, we're absolutely breaking the planet, and it's like a major crisis, and people are too stupid to realize it until it's too late. And when it's too late, it's like we'll be a desert and we'll be like living in caves. So why does it have to get that far? And I guess it's isolating and a little bit frustrating to see to recognize, to see like the train coming towards the brick wall. Because that's what it feels like with all the choices and with all the mentality on the planet in a lot of ways. And there's a million ways that I need to step up as well. So there's, yeah, like, I don't know. And that's why I've come to the conclusion that it's not world police. It's more so like a world council of like our smartest, our brightest, and I don't know. It's a shame. I don't want to see the planet get like absolutely obliterated by stupidity, by dense thinking and separation thinking, because people make choices over what's best for them and what they can get away with and what will affect them. Like if all the garbage from all the things that we consume ended up in our backyard, we'd probably change our practices. But if we can ship it off to another country, then it's out of sight, out of mind. And that's the shitty mentality that I think we live in, and that I'm proposing there's a way out of. I don't have the answer, but it's like asking the question, like thinking about the question here. Because, I don't know, I think we have to. It's that time. It's beyond the time. Like, I think we're so in a spot already. But, like, I don't know. Anyway, first tidbit of a thought being, is it for the greatest good of all? And I pose that to anyone as a personal challenge to just look at things and be like, hey, is this for the greatest good of all? Like, apply that to everything, all of our patterns, all of like everything, all of our like customs, all the things that we've always just done it this way, is like everything's up for renegotiation and reassessment. It has to be, because like what we've done on this planet isn't working, and something drastically needs to change. Blah 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 is what lots of people will hear, or not. I don't know. I just find it interesting to be like, I'm open to the things that I need to step up in. And what I find funny is when I mention veganism or being like, hey, like animal agriculture is fucking the fuck out of the planet, and people are like, no, but you know, I like that. That's my choice. It's like, come on. It's just, there's no excuse for it at this point. And it's because I became aware of that. I can say that I've looked into it. I've seen the fucking destruction, and I have the ability to like critical thinking to look forward and being like, hey, if we keep doing this, we are absolutely screwed. So in all of my vegan rants, which aren't even rants, it's just being like, dude, look into some information and like be like, do you really want to contribute to this? And I can't comprehend people being like, yeah, it's fine, but yet they exist, and people are like, no, this is my personal choice. And it's like, where does the personal choice card go? Like, I respect free will choice. I will like stand up for free will choice as like, that's like one of my core values. But free will choice coupled with conscious, like, critical thinking and applying a factor or a lead question of like, is this for the greatest good of all? Is animal agriculture for the greatest good of all on the planet? Absolutely not. Even if you're just applying it to humans and not like all sentient beings, such as the animals that are getting slaughtered by the billions. Even just applying it to humans, no, it's not for the greatest good of all. It's only for like the richer classes who can afford it, and it's like literally at what cost? It's costing us the planet. It literally is. So it just baffles me. It baffles me I come across it all the time of people who are like, yeah, I just, I like meat. I like dairy. It's, I like it. It's normal. It's like, cool, you like it, but is it serving the greatest good of the planet? Like, what if we adopted that thinking? Like, seriously, what would it take? Like, what does it take to get people to look outside of themselves? And, like, what if the time came when it's like, hey, like, for actual earthlings of the planet, here's what we would need to do. Like, questions to you is like, would you give up some of your comforts to have an equal planet? Like, would you give up some of your wealth or like, yeah, just comforts in life if it meant that, like, hey, if everyone's on board, people with the most are gonna have to give up a little bit? You know what's really fucked? Another example of this is like, if I posed the question first, have been like, hey, do we all think that super billionaires should have to give up some stuff to be like the rest of us? Everyone would be like, yeah, the billionaires should have to give up some stuff. What if it's us? What if we compare ourselves to like the fifth world countries? What if it's us that has to give up some shit to make the fucking planet fair and to make the planet not go extinct? What if it's us? What if it's not the billionaires? Posing that question. Like, for real. I would 100% give up all my stuff if it meant that it's for the greater good of all, and that everyone's gonna work together and like adopt a mindset and a way of life, a way of being that is for the greatest good of all. Like, I'm so fucking down for that. And like, I'm curious, who else would be down for that? Even if you have to give up your brand new whatever the hell you just bought. I don't know, that's just the issue is so much bigger. The issue is literally like our species on the planet, like, thriving for everybody. Like, yeah, it's a massive thing because it goes into like pay wages, it goes into like all sorts of the equality talks, and like all of these things. There must be one simple way to look at it and being like, is this for the greatest good of all? Like, I don't know. That's what I came up with today in response to my yesterday bit and a few people being triggered by it. It's like, I don't know. I find it frustrating. Like, right now I got frustrated in my mind. I'm like, do I need to sing and dance on my videos and be like, whoa, I'm Wacky Byron, listen to me, to get some fucking attention? To be like, hey, who can listen to this? It's like ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know. Weird rant today. I don't know. I feel very, very strongly like it's in the core of my being that we need to heal the planet. We need to heal the mentality. We need to heal the consciousness. We need to re-evolve back into our full consciousness, because we're at a fragmented state right now, but there's a way out. It doesn't have to be like that. And it wasn't like that, and it isn't always going to be like that. So it's like, how long are we going to stay in this is the question, really. Like, blah, blah, blah. I feel a little self-defeated even talking about this. Like, this is on my heart. This is like the core being of my being feels this way. And I feel like very isolated in this. And if it wasn't day 232, I probably wouldn't even talk about this out loud. But there's a certain point of doing enough live videos where you don't give a fuck anymore. So it's kind of nice. I guess the only thing I could do is find a way to present it better so that people might be able to hear it. Because I think that's the thing too. It's like, it's fucked up, but like people have short attention spans nowadays, and it's like the movie Idiocracy. We're really like bordering on that state in the planet. So how to reach people in the States, like I think it's not this, haha, no pun intended there, but yes, pun, in the States and in those states. Blah, blah, blah. Feeling self-defeated. Also taking up space on my video, because it's my video. And I told a friend the other day when talking about doing the videos, it's like, who gives a fuck? Just show up, and I'm doing this for me, and this is totally for my personal growth. So it's like, yeah, I'm putting this out there, but people don't have to watch it. People clearly don't have to agree with me. And I put this out there too, like, if you don't agree with me, hit me up. I would love to be challenged, or like just in a conscious, nice way, just be like, hey, I don't agree with this, and here's why. And there's growth to be had for everyone involved. Anytime there's like a polarity or imbalance between like two beings, two ideals, two ideas, whatever, there's like, that's where like the healing is to be had. And I think that when those things come up, it's like it's a huge opportunity. And it's interesting because it's like the easy thing to do is to go in the way of politics, which is like one side against the other. Don't listen to anything the other side says. Surround yourself with people who are going to say absolutely yes to all the things you believe, and then like create this little bubble. But that's just one side of polarity, and it can be really comfortable on one side of polarity. But that's not for the greatest good of all. That's for the greatest good of all the people that are exactly sharing the exact same thoughts. But I believe there's a center point of ideals and just everything, and it exists for the greatest good of all. There's like rules and like standards to live by. All that kind of stuff is like, can be found for the greatest good of all. I definitely want to think a lot more about this. And you know what? I invite people to toss up ideas or anything, but so far not really anyone has, which is fine. But if anyone has any thoughts, hit me up or leave it in the comments or whatever. I would love to continue my evolution and re-evolution. And honestly, none of us are going to get there if we hide from the things that are in contrast to us. So I might be in contrast to a whole bunch of people, but that's something to talk about or work through, because there's a center point, there's a balance point, there's a still point or whatever, and it's for the greatest good of all that we all get there. Because getting out of polarity and into like co-resonance, be in harmony with each other, and I don't think that that's unattainable. I think it's very attainable, and maybe it starts with for the greatest good of all, asking that question. I feel like I'll have more thoughts on this in the future, but for now, I wander. You should see when I do like work phone calls, I just like wander and I can end up like 3 blocks away, and I'm like, especially if I'm on like tour, I'm in a different city, I'll like get on a phone call and I'll just like power walk, and I'm like, where the hell am I and where's my hotel? So that happens a lot. This is hilarious. I don't even know what this says, but let's read this. Joy of freedom. Freedom is most valued once it is regained. Freedom is most valued once it is regained. That's kind of interesting. Kind of, this is where I'm at. I'm on a rooftop. That saying's kind of interesting. It's like kind of what I've been rambling about. Once it's regained, implying that we've always had freedom. Freedom is most valued once it's regained. Once it is regained. Implying that we've had freedom. That's like my re-evolution bit. It's like we're just growing back into ourselves. We've already been the levels of consciousness floated out into density, and now we're on our way back and we're reintegrating into ourselves. So it's like waking back up. I love that phrase. Wake back up with consciousness activism and Operation Upshift. Peace.